Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So we are back on the storage building project that we started a while back. They decided they wanted to go forward with the second stage of the project, and they just want to do the dirt work for now so that they can get the fence put all the way around. Got to get the dirt work done for the fence because down there at that end it's really low, and we need to build that up about, I think it's about 4 foot. We need to build all that whole corner up, and in order to do that we've got to cut down this area and take it over there. So we're going to peel all this off and we're going to take it down there and build that up. As you can see, they've got the storage buildings built on the first section that we done. Turned out real nice. Alright, so we got a lot of dirt to move. So, in order to move that dirt, we went and got us a big dirt mover. So, check it out. We got us a John Deere 750K. We were going to get the 850K, but with the 850 you have to pay a flag service to get it here and the transport fees to get it here. The 750 is narrow enough that it just uses standard permits to get it here. So we went ahead and got the 750. We rented it through Walkeroosa Heavy Equipment. We have rented quite a few items from them over the years, mainly long reach excavators. But we decided, we started this project last Thursday. I started plowing it down with our New Holland 85 and realized I was going to be here a little bit with it. So that's when I told Dad, I said, you know what? Let's go get us a big dirt hog. So we got the 750 out here. So let's get started. We got to get all this peeled off. Dad's getting the laser set up, and we'll see what we can get done today. So I stole all the grade controls off of the tile plow and I put them on the 750K. As you can see, I just tile taped the control console in here, and I put the laser eye out on the blade, and believe it or not, it works pretty good. I just watch the lights, arrows up and down, and manually control the blade. So I'll show you how it works. Started here, get her lights. Come down off that ridge. GPS or anything like that. We're just working off laser beam off of our laser over there on its tripod. What would make this even better is if this was integrated into the dozer. Blade would chase the laser beam itself. within a certain range before it starts to work. They were out of range there. Settle over time anyways. Because it's going to be a while before they do the next phase of the buildings. Like I said before, we're just getting this done so they can get the fence around the perimeter. So I got this all looking good. all graded off. Looks real nice. I like it. Dad's playing with the 750 back there. We're going to start that pad here in a little bit. Get that one down to grade. But first, I want to work on this retention pond here for a little bit. So I've got the D85 New Holland, and I'm using it to peel it out. The blade's narrower than the 750, and we don't want that extremely wide in the bottom. So I'm going to cut it down, and then I'll come back and I'll reshape the sides. So I started on it, I figured I better get some video of it. So let me set the camera up, and I'll hog that out some more, and then we'll start shaping it. dozer. This is all I used was the receiver for the tile plow. Put it right here. This is actually for whatever GPS they run on this machine, or had on this machine at one time. It's a 750K, so if you have the right stuff, I believe it's just as simple as clicking the button and it'll do all the grade on its own. You just drive it. I believe it's all integrated into it. So this worked really well for what we did with it. It's not as convenient as a Depth Master, like I say, because Depth Master is rechargeable and you just put it on whatever you want to use it on. It also has a magnet and it'll stick to whatever. So you can move it from excavator, skid steer, or dozer, or whatever you want to do with it. So now all I got to do is take the box out of the cab, just cut the tile tape, take it out. Tile tape is amazing stuff. It's pretty tough. And now that can go back in the tractor to control the tile plow. George is moving some stone. So we are done here. This project is done until they decide to do the next phase, which is actually put the stone down. So our work here is done for now. I really like this dozer. John Deere has always made a wonderful dozer. It's just amazing when you get in a dozer made by the Big Four. I call the Big Four Komatsu, Case, John Deere, and Caterpillar. Their dozers just feel right in your hands. You know, you sit in a cab and you feel like you become one with the machine. They're just comfortable. Like it's kind of cool because you turn this camera around, you kind of like sit down in here and you're just comfortable. You know, the windows are level with your view. I like the, let me turn this, I don't know if you can see it, but the pad up here to control the whole machine, you've got your start button, your stop button, the hydraulic lock so the blade won't move or anything, windshield wipers, this is your throttle, you've got your minimum, you've got wide open, you've got eco mode. It's pretty neat how it's all laid out, and I like it up there, and it doesn't take a lot to get this machine to move. Literally hit the start button, put your locks down, your safety locks, hit your throttle, and away you go. Just as simple as that. Not a bunch of messing around and clicking different things on and off to make it move. Very convenient dozer to run. But it's just like, it's like everything else or anything else. You get something that's been around for years and they've got it figured out. So definitely I see either a Case or a Deere in our future. I'd like to try a D6N cat. That is one that I would like to give a chance trying out if we're gonna look at getting a bigger dozer than what we got. So, but we'll see. We'll see what next couple years brings. Also, if you're wondering, I run pretty much the whole day on one Milwaukee M12 XC 3.0 battery. It run it all day, and it's not even a fully charged battery, so don't take much voltage at all to run one of these all day. So pretty cool. All worked out great. Well, it's hard to tell, but that is a retention pond. It's not real deep. It's just kind of an indention in the ground. There's not much to it. But later we have to come back, and there's kind of a swale right there. We have to line the top of that with riprap, 10 foot wide for 30 feet, so that when it fills up with water, it'll actually run out that swale there if it ever does fill up with water. So I guess with all these roofs here, I guess it could potentially fill up with water, but I got a feeling it's going to end up running off somewhere else before it fills this retention pond completely up. All right, George is about done with that stone. I'm going to take this dozer over by the other equipment over there. I got to put DEF in it, and we'll have to top it off with fuel, and then Walker's Heavy Equipment can come back and take it home. So thanks for watching, greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Someday I think I'm gonna own me one of these. We'll see what happens. So all right, we'll see you all in the next one. Have a good evening.